This morning, I said the word put 4 times before I even had coffee.
4 times before coffee? That's ambitious.
I didn't plan it. I just put on my shoes, put off making the bed, put the kettle on, and put away my phone so I'd stop scrolling.
Wait, that's already 4 completely different meanings.
Welcome back to English Talk Sessions, everyone. I'm Mia.
I'm James, and today we're talking about one small word that quietly does an enormous amount of work in English.
Put.
3 letters, 15 lives.
15. We counted.
And here's a strange part. Most learners already know this word perfectly well as a simple verb. Put the cup on the table. Easy.
But the moment it teams up with a small word after it, everything changes completely.
Put on, put off, put up with. Same word, 15 completely different meanings.
Before we start, here's today's question for you, our listeners.
Which put phrase do you already use without even realizing it's special? Tell us in the comments. We genuinely want to know.
And if English Talk Sessions is helping you, please hit subscribe. It really helps more learners find us.
All right, let's slow down and actually walk through all 15 properly. No rushing today.
Sounds good. I'll try not to speed through my own stories.
Okay, let's start where you started. Put on.
Right. Put on for clothes. I put on my jacket. She put on her glasses.
Simple enough.
It is, but here's a small story. Last winter, I put on my coat, walked outside, and immediately realized I'd put on my husband's coat instead.
How far did you get?
To the end of the street, sleeves down to my knees, completely oblivious.
Put on. Noted and slightly embarrassing.
There's also a lighter version of it, actually. Put on some music, or put the kettle on.
So it's not always clothes.
Not always. Same little phrase, but it just means starting something, turning something on.
That's actually a helpful way to remember it. Put on your coat, put on some music, same energy, different object.
Your turn. You mentioned put off earlier without realizing it.
Did I?
Put off making the bed.
Oh, right. Put off means delay, postpone. I keep putting off that phone call.
Which call?
The dentist. I've put it off for 3 weeks now.
Put off. A very honest example.
And it's worth saying, this phrase can also describe something that discourages you. The smell put me off the restaurant completely.
Oh, so it's not just delaying, it can also mean something turned you away.
Exactly. 2 cousins living in one phrase. Delay something or be discouraged by something.
Makes sense. Onward.
Okay, number 3, and this one's useful for relationships. Put up with.
Meaning tolerate.
Exactly. I don't know how she puts up with his snoring.
I actually have a put up with story.
Go on.
My old roommate used to practice trumpet, badly, at 7 in the morning.
Oh no.
I put up with it for 2 years before I finally said something.
2 years of trumpet? That's genuine patience.
Or genuine avoidance of conflict, but let's call it patience.
I think that's the real skill behind this phrase, honestly. It's not really about tolerating noise, it's about tolerating anything a little too long quietly.
We should probably all say this phrase a little less and speak up a little sooner.
Says the woman who put up with trumpet practice for 2 years.
Fair. Did you actually ever say anything to him in the end?
I did, eventually. I left a very polite note under his door. He apologized, moved practice to the afternoons, and we're still friends to this day.
See, that's the funny thing about put up with. Most of the time, the solution was always available. We just quietly chose the harder option instead.
Suffering in silence dressed up as patience.
There's actually a slightly different version too. Put up with versus just put up without the with, as in, I won't put up any more of this behavior.
Oh, that's a firmer version, isn't it? Almost like a warning.
Exactly. Put up with is quiet tolerance. I won't put up with this is the moment the tolerance finally runs out.
So the same little phrase can describe both the patience and the exact moment the patience ends.
Which, if we're honest, usually takes about 2 years and 1 trumpet.
All right, let's move to number 4. And this one has 2 very different faces.
Put down.
2 faces?
Literally, put the bag down, set something down. But also, emotionally, stop putting yourself down.
Criticizing yourself.
Exactly. My grandmother used to say both in the same sentence, actually. Put the bags down and stop putting yourself down for being tired.
That's a good grandmother.
She really was. She had this habit of noticing exactly when I was being hardest on myself, usually right after I'd done something completely reasonable, like carrying groceries up 4 flights of stairs.
It's a good phrase to notice in yourself, actually. Setting a bag down is easy. Noticing when you're putting yourself down, that takes a little more attention.
The physical version and the emotional version both worth practicing gently.
There's a third version too, isn't there? Putting an animal down.
Oh, that's a much heavier one. Yes, that's the same phrase used for something very different and very sad.
Same 3 words, completely different emotional weight, depending entirely on what comes after them.
Which is honestly true for most of this list. Context does almost all of the work.
And there's a 4th small use too. Put a down payment down on a house or a car.
Oh, right, the money version.
Exactly. So in one single phrase, we've covered a grocery bag, self-criticism, something genuinely sad, and a mortgage.
4 completely different rooms of life, all sharing the same small doorway.
All right, 5. Put out, extinguish.
Like a fire.
Like a fire or a cigarette or even an argument sometimes. They finally put out the small kitchen fire.
Please tell me that's not a personal story.
It's a personal story.
Of course it is.
Toast. Just toast. It escalated quickly.
How does toast escalate quickly?
I got distracted answering a message. The toaster stayed on far too long, and suddenly there was a small, dramatic flame where breakfast used to be.
And you put it out with what exactly?
A damp towel and a surprising amount of panic, if I'm honest. I also may have shouted at the toaster, which in hindsight did nothing useful at all.
Did the smoke alarm go off?
Of course it did. Loudly, at 7 in the morning. My neighbors probably think I run a very small, very inefficient factory.
You can also put out news, by the way. The company put out a statement.
So it's not always about flames.
Not always, though in your case it was very literally about flames.
There's also put yourself out, meaning to go to extra trouble for someone. Please don't put yourself out on my account.
Oh, that's a lovely one. Very polite, very British, honestly.
People say it even when they clearly want the help, which I find quietly funny.
Oh, don't put yourself out while secretly hoping you absolutely will.
5 uses of put, and we're already deep into fires, statements, and politeness.
6. Put together. Assemble.
Furniture nightmares.
Exactly that. It took us 3 hours to put together that bookshelf.
Was it actually 3 hours?
It was 4. I lied to make myself feel better.
Put together. Understood and forgiven.
There were leftover screws at the end too. 4 of them. I still don't know where they were supposed to go.
That's the true sign of a properly assembled piece of furniture. A few mystery parts left over and quiet hope that they weren't important.
The bookshelf had survived 2 years, so apparently they weren't.
It works for ideas too, not just furniture. She put together a really strong presentation.
So assembling pieces, whether they're wooden or made of PowerPoint slides.
Exactly the same verb, exactly the same feeling of relief when it's finally done.
There's also well put together, describing someone who looks composed, organized, polished.
She always seems so put together. Meanwhile, the rest of us are held together with coffee and hope.
And leftover screws, apparently.
7, and this one's a little more advanced. Put across.
Meaning, communicate an idea clearly.
Right, he struggled to put his point across in the meeting.
I think everyone learning English feels this one deeply.
Painfully deeply, knowing exactly what you mean but not quite finding the words to put it across.
That's basically this whole podcast in one phrase.
Honestly, it might be. Every episode is really just us trying to put an idea across clearly without losing anyone along the way.
And sometimes we probably fail at putting it across too, and that's all right.
It happens in your first language too, honestly. Sometimes the idea is clear in your head, but it just won't come out the way you meant it.
Which is oddly comforting, actually. It's not just an English problem, it's a human problem. English just gave it a name.
There's a small trick too for putting ideas across more clearly. Say the simple version first, then add detail.
Instead of starting complicated and hoping people follow.
Exactly. Simple first, complicated second, and suddenly your point lands so much more easily.
8. Put away. Store something.
The eternal battle. Put away your laundry.
Said every parent forever.
I still don't put away my laundry properly. It lives in a chair. The chair has become a closet.
We call that a chair drobe in my house.
I'm stealing that word.
It's also useful for money, actually. Like, I try to put away a little savings every month.
So storing objects and storing money, same tidy little phrase.
If only the laundry could put itself away that easily.
There's a slightly less polite version too. Put away, meaning to eat a large amount of food quickly.
Oh, like he really put away that whole pizza.
Exactly. Storing clothes, storing savings, or storing an entire pizza in record time.
3 completely different achievements, honestly, all described with the same 2 small words.
And somehow the pizza one always sounds the most impressive.
9. Put forward. Suggest, propose.
She put forward a new idea for the project.
This one feels very office meeting.
It is. I once put forward an idea so bad the room went completely silent.
What was it?
I'd rather not say. Just know that it involved glitter and it was not appropriate for a budget meeting.
Now you have to say it.
Fine. I suggested we celebrate hitting our sales target by covering the office in glitter confetti. Nobody clapped. Someone quietly asked who would be cleaning it up.
And who was?
Me, for 3 days. Glitter does not leave carpet easily, as it turns out.
Put forward. Sometimes bravely, sometimes regrettably.
It also works for people, by the way. They put her forward for the promotion.
So you can put forward an idea or put forward a person.
Both take a small amount of courage, honestly, glitter or no glitter.
I think that's underrated, actually. Putting yourself forward or putting someone else forward both require a little bravery most people don't talk about enough.
Especially putting someone else forward. That's a quiet kind of generosity.
No glitter required for that one, thankfully.
10. Put in. Invest time or effort.
I really put in the hours this week.
That one feels satisfying to say.
It does, doesn't it? Like you've earned the rest afterward. I put in extra practice before the exam.
Put in effort now, put your feet up later.
Oh, that's a nice one for later, actually.
You can put in a request, too, at work. I put in for 2 days off next month.
So effort, hours, and requests all put in.
All of it building towards something you're hoping comes back to you eventually.
There's a small warning inside this phrase too, though. Sometimes people put in so much, they forget to also put themselves first occasionally.
That's true. Effort without rest just becomes quiet exhaustion, dressed up as dedication.
It's worth putting in effort and also putting in the occasional break.
Both matter, even though only one of them ever gets celebrated at work.
11. Put up, as in host someone for the night.
Not the same as put up with.
Completely different. Can you put me up for the weekend?
I once put up a friend for what was supposed to be 2 nights.
How long did it actually last?
9 days. We're still friends somehow.
That's true friendship, or true politeness taken to its absolute limit.
A little of both, honestly. By day 5, I'd stopped asking when he was leaving and just quietly bought more coffee.
That's the real sign of hospitality, actually. Not asking, just adjusting.
There's also put up a fight, meaning to resist strongly. The old computer put up quite a fight before it finally died.
So even machines get their own version of putting up with something.
12. Put back. Return something or delay something.
Double meaning again.
Put the milk back in the fridge, or the flight was put back 2 hours.
Airports love that second one.
Airports live for that second one.
There's a third little cousin too. Put the clocks back for daylight saving.
Oh, that's true. We say that every autumn.
One small phrase covering milk, flights, and entire clocks.
It's strange how something so ordinary as back completely changes the whole meaning depending on what it's attached to.
13. Put through. Connect a call or make someone experience something hard.
2 very different moods again.
Could you put me through to the manager? Very calm.
Versus, that project put the whole team through a lot.
Much heavier.
Same 3 letters, completely different weight.
It's a good reminder, actually, that tone changes everything with this word. Calm on a phone call, heavy in a hard year.
Context decides whether put through sounds like customer service or like real life.
There's also put yourself through, like she put herself through university while working 2 jobs.
That's a proud kind of putting through. Difficult, but chosen.
There's something almost brave about that version, actually. Choosing the hard thing on purpose instead of just enduring one that arrived uninvited.
Chosen difficulty and unchosen difficulty, both wearing the exact same 3 words.
14. Put something down to. Attribute a cause. Meaning?
I put my headache down to the noisy trumpet roommate.
Full circle.
Full circle. Or he put his success down to years of quiet practice.
Explaining why something happened.
Exactly. It's a gentle little phrase, actually. It doesn't blame, it just explains. I put the delay down to bad weather. Sounds so much softer than it's someone's fault.
A polite way of finding a reason without pointing fingers.
It's also a very human habit, isn't it? We're constantly putting things down to something. Bad moods down to lack of sleep, mistakes down to a busy week.
Sometimes fairly, sometimes just as an excuse.
Probably both, depending on the day.
And 15, the one that isn't really a phrasal verb at all. Put yourself in someone's shoes.
Empathy.
Right. Before you judge him, put yourself in his shoes.
It works the other direction too, doesn't it? Not just judging less, but understanding more.
Exactly. Put yourself in her shoes. She's had a really hard week. It's less about blame and more about context.
I try to use it whenever I catch myself getting frustrated with someone, actually. A quick reminder that I'm only seeing a tiny slice of their day.
That's a genuinely useful habit, honestly, not just a nice phrase.
I love that this list ends here, honestly.
Why's that?
Because after 14 practical, everyday uses, the last one is the most human, understanding someone else's experience.
15 uses and the smallest word carried all of them.
From coats and kettles all the way to genuine empathy.
That's quite a journey for 3 letters.
Okay, quick, honest question before we close.
Go for it.
Out of all 15, which one do you actually use the most?
Put off, unfortunately. That dentist still hasn't heard from me.
Mine's put up with. I'm apparently very patient with trumpets and bad furniture instructions.
A pattern is emerging.
A very specific pattern, yes.
What about you? Out of everything we just went through, which one surprised you the most?
Honestly, put down to. I use it constantly, but I never once thought about it as its own separate phrase before today.
That happens a lot with put, actually. It hides in plain sight.
If you want to actually remember these, here's a small tip. Pick 3 from this list, the 3 that felt most like you.
Say them out loud today, in your own sentence.
Not memorized, just noticed and used once.
That's usually enough to make a phrase actually stick.
And if you forget the other 12, honestly, that's completely fine too. Nobody uses all 15 in one normal day.
Except maybe you, this morning, before coffee.
Fair point.
Today's golden sentence.
You don't need every use of a word. You just need to put a few into practice.
Say it with us, everyone.
You don't need every use of a word.
You just need to put a few into practice.
Tell us in the comments which one of these 15 is secretly your most used one.
We read every single comment, and honestly, we're curious.
If this helped, share it with someone who also has a chair drobe.
We all know that person. Sometimes we are that person.
See you in the next one.
See you there. Now, go put away that laundry.
No promises.
Before we go, actually, one more small thing.
Of course there is.
Put isn't the only small word doing enormous amounts of work in English.
Oh, I know exactly where this is going.
Get. 15 more uses hiding in plain sight, exactly like today.
That's next time, everyone.
Take care, keep noticing the small words, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.